There we go. All right. So yesterday we went with Noah to see the movie Doctor Strange. I had heard good things in the reviews about it, and so therefore I figured I'll give it a shot because I've tried other Marvel movies. And honestly, the Marvel movies to me have started showing their age. It started to feel like I'm watching a 16-hour long movie. The only exception to me was Guardians of the Galaxy. I like
That one
Guardians
was
of the
cute,
Galaxy.
yeah.
But the last Avengers was long.
I don't think I watched the last one.
Age of Ultron?
I didn't watch that one. I know my boys did.
Captain America Civil War was good, but again, it was long. And then it has that open ending, and I'm starting to get mad at the open endings because you never feel like a movie's finished. Doctor Strange for me felt like it finished. This to me felt like a self-contained story.
Yeah.
I
They left it open though.
There is the post-credit scene. They
Right.
left it open, and they make it like it's your origin story. I like that Benedict Cumberbatch had actual emotions that humans have in this movie. He actually smiled and laughed
And joked.
and Sherlock doesn't do that, and Khan certainly didn't do that. So it was nice to see Benedict Cumberbatch do something different. And I'm glad that he'll be a supporting character in this movies from here. I haven't heard anything about a Doctor Strange 2. I haven't even looked yet to see if that's. I know they plan their movies like 6-7 years in advance.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if there's a Doctor Strange 2 planned. You don't have to mention it in the comments. I'll look it up at some point. I know Thor's the next one, and so they do the crossover, the Thor crossover at the end of this one. I mean, Logan's out next. Logan to me looked good,
It did look interesting.
which is upsetting because the last two Thor movies were really bad, shockingly bad. And then they had the trailer for Rogue One, which of course I have to see. We have to see. We're gonna go see that one next month. That's gonna be a fun one to go and see. And I don't know. What did you think of Rachel McAdams in it?
Who is she? I don't know actress name.
The other doctor, the one that he
Oh.
kind of blew her off, and then he needed
yeah.
her.
I liked it.
Link.
I liked her.
Okay, now you guys are ripping the bag open altogether. That's not cool. You're using your hook claw. I'm glad to see Rachel McAdams is now part of the Marvel Universe. She suits it. She works for it. She kind of reminded me of Rosario Dawson's character in Daredevil for obvious reasons. Of course, Rosario Dawson's character is a nurse, and in this one, Rachel McAdams is a doctor, and I wonder, is there room... No, Link. Is there room for Rachel McAdams in the Defenders somewhere? Could you get her in there somewhere? Really enjoyed her role, though, in this movie. This is a more mystical take on it than the physical, which is okay.
See, and I'm not really familiar with all the comic stories and everything.
See, I never
so
read.
I didn't know any of the backstory or anything like that beforehand.
I mean, I knew they were going to go into other alternate timelines and universes, and I knew they had the Inception style, the buildings are collapsing sort of thing going on, which I thought was really well done. The villain I thought was kind of muddled. I was not a big fan of Caecilius.
Yeah.
I thought, and again, it's an origin story, so you don't necessarily get a villain that's really fleshed out, but I thought he was kind of stock.
True.
So, I don't know. I'm glad I saw it. I guess if I'm going to rate it out of 5 stars or 5 cats or whatever I'm going to rate it out of, I give it probably a 4.5. I did enjoy, and I'm not going to spoil it for anybody who hasn't seen it yet. I did enjoy the fight at the end with the villain, who looked a little bit too much like Thanos for me, but that's me. He looked almost exactly like Thanos. Thanos is the big purple guy that you see in... Yeah. Thanos is in Guardians of the Galaxy. He's the father of the two green chicks.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And to me, it looked a lot like Thanos if you ran him through whatever blender the villain from the first Tron came out of. You kind of have... And I'm sure if anybody's seen the original Tron and hasn't seen this movie, they'll go, how does that work? Trust me, that's the only comparison I can come up with. But it was good. I'd like to have seen more of the villain, to be honest, than we did.
I think that's because they took so much time in the movie for the setup. Because I
They did.
remember it felt like halfway through the movie, and I was thinking, we haven't even seen what's actually happening. It's all leading up to him turning into this character.
Yeah. Yeah. It was a long origin story. I got a kick out of it because I could identify with parts what the character went through. She could identify with parts what the character went through. So I was comparing notes on what Doctor Strange went through as to whether it was me or her. In the end, it's kind of, if you put the two of us together, you get Strange, I guess. That's the end. The end result there is, if her and I are together, it's Strange. So that makes sense. Absolutely works for me. But yeah, I would recommend it to anybody who hasn't seen it yet. Obviously, it's made a lot of money, and there's a reason for that. It's because it's a very well-made movie. It showed a little more range, as I said, for Benedict Cumberbatch than other movies or shows I've seen him in. And I enjoy his work. His stuff is very good. Into Darkness, he did the best he could with what was a very baffling, not making any sense script. And in Sherlock, he takes a character that's very cold, unfeeling, and almost human, and brings that across as well as he can. At least in this one, he feels more fleshed out, and it seemed like he had a lot of fun. To me, it looked like he was actually having a lot of fun being out of his shell, and it seemed more like this might be how he really is in real life than the other characters he's portrayed, which is good because they're basically sociopaths. So that's good that he's more human than that.
He does always play kind of an odd guy.
Yeah. Yeah. In Sherlock, he's almost proud of the fact that he's borderline psychotic himself. And of course, Khan is genocidal maniac. So, in this one, he's playing the hero, which is excellent. I just, at this point, I look at the Marvel Universe and how big it is, and they have almost every actor in it now. Almost every actor and actress has been in a Marvel. All they need to do is figure out where Johnny Depp goes, and then they're set. No.
That'd be cool.
No. I am not cool with the idea of Johnny Depp being in the Marvel Universe. That would not.
It'd be awesome.
No. Maybe DC, because DC movies usually are crap. But not so much Marvel. I could see Tim Burton casting him as Batman and just completely burning the Batman franchise to the ground.
See, Tim Burton doing any movie is awesome.
See, but you haven't seen Tim Burton's Batman.
But it's Tim Burton, so...
Yeah, and it's great. And she hasn't seen the 1989 Batman. It's all in the dark because it's Tim Burton. I don't think Tim Burton knows the sun exists. His movies are always in the dark.
No, that is not true.
That's very true.
No, Edward Scissorhand is very colorful.
Well, yeah, because
very
scissors gleam in the daylight, so you can't really do a scissors movie at night.
Same with Big Fish, very colorful.
I never watched Big Fish.
I have it, don't worry, it's awesome.
Okay.
It is, it's a good movie. I can see you.
No, you can't.
It's a good movie.
No,
Johnny Depp's not even in it, and it's still good.
Well, that's a benefit. If Johnny's not in it, he plays just like goofy characters now. Like in the Marvel Universe, he might have worked as the Collector. That might have worked, but I can't see him playing any major role in the Marvel Universe without screwing it up.
He would be an awesome villain, though.
Oh God, he'd be an absolute joke of a villain.
He'd be awesome.
He'd be literally a mustache twirling villain. He'd be tying the damsel in distress to the train tracks.
It'd be awesome.
And yet we agree on Doctor Strange. What rating would you give Doctor Strange?
I don't ever rate things by number, but I would think probably a 4.
Okay. All right. So.
All the effects of everything moving and stuff was really neat looking.
The effects were really.
The floor moving and the buildings moving. That was crazy looking.
The mirror.
Parts of it almost made you dizzy.
I'd like to see them play with that more in future movies. I felt like they kind of just showed us like a drop in the ocean, and then like there's a whole other thing they can do with that, with the whole crossing dimensions and alternate realities and all this stuff that they can do that hopefully they get into in future movies. I'm sure the comics get into that, and I'll get comments about the comics, but yeah, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, that's good.
And soon Rogue One. Are you as excited as I am for Rogue One?
Probably not.
Nobody's excited as I am for Rogue
but
One.
It'll be good. And I know my boys are excited for it.
Are you okay with the fact that women are taking over the Star Wars universe and
I
pushing
think
men
it's
aside?
awesome.
Okay.
I think it's awesome that women are playing a role that's not the damsel in distress.
And also, I noticed when I was looking at like action figures and all the things we put out for the movie, there's only one female in the movie that plays a main role. So when people complain that, oh, here comes another one like Rey and it's just a women are taking over, not if there's only one of them. I mean, if it was a Star Wars movie where you have Han Solo and everybody else in the movie's chicks, first off, Han's very happy about that idea, but you'd have guys complaining quite a bit that everybody was a woman except for the main character. The
But
fact
why
the main
would a
character,
guy complain about that? Oh no, more women to look at.
because that's what
It's
guys.
horrible.
It's like I said, women's wrestling makes women complain too. Makes men complain too. They want to watch.
Which is weird.
They want to watch men wrestle in their underwear. They don't want to watch women, because that's what gay guys do. They watch the women.
I'd rather watch the women wrestle than the men. They're wearing underpants. Barely.
You don't.
It's just my view on it.
You don't like the men wrestling in their underpants?
No.
Well, there goes my my surprise for the next anniversary. My opponent's out there watching. I guess the match is off. I guess we're done. Now I got to take back those underpants, and I already have my name stitched on the back of them. It was gonna be awesome.
Oh.
I was gonna be scavenger for real. It's gonna be great. I was gonna come out with like garbage cans, and my chair named Steely Vengeance.
Oh my.
She doesn't know that I have a chair named Steely Vengeance, but I do. All right. Yeah, so highly recommend this movie, and all of the tangents we've gone on here are important as well. So thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're passing through. And I just figured I'd do a movie review here rather than the serious political stuff that I've been doing for the last week or so. And just, get back to what this channel was meant to be about. So thank you for watching, and I'll talk to y'all again soon.